Okay. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. We're going to call our meeting to order. I just want to note we are going to have a hard stop at 7 o'clock this evening due to the inclement weather and the closure of the school facilities. So with that, we'll get started. And are there any agenda adjustments that we need?
Yes, I would just recommend that we delay the special ed trust discussion to next month because it's actually going to be a decision that the new seated board would have to make. I think that would be better, so we'll give up one update and let those two individuals that will be joining us understand what's going on, because we probably wouldn't take action until April or May.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's it for agenda adjustments.
Okay. How about correspondence, resignations, retirements, or nominations?
I just wanted to let you know we are finalizing, I'm working with Lauren and Tricia, finalizing the long-term substitute in guidance here at CSDA. And Lauren and I are also will be updating the board in March about a transition for a special education administrator. As you know, that position's been open. So we're looking to do something where we start the transition of that person during this school year and then welcome them formally to the full-time position in July.
Great. Okay, and I'll just go on record and note that this is Karen and Allison's last meeting, so I want to say thank you to both of you for your years of service.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we will move to approval of minutes. So our first one is the joint meeting with the Brookline School Board and the Brookline Finance Committee on January 11th. The following amendments were offered. Page 1, line 28, replace belief with believe. Page 7, line 2, correct the spelling of the. And page 13, line 31, replace board with boards. So I'll make a motion to accept as amended.
Second.
Seconded by Karen. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0, very good. Okay, so now we're going to move to the public hearing on January 11th. Following amendments were offered. Page 2, line 38, replace of with or. Page 5, line 2, replace F24 with FY24. I will make a motion to accept as amended.
Second.
Second, thank you. All in favor? 5-0, very good. Okay, on January 31st, we had a special Brookline School Board meeting, and I will make a motion to accept as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded by Karen. Any discussion? You're there. All those in favor? 5-0. And then we had a non-public school board meeting on January 31st as well. I will make a motion to accept as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Allison. All in favor? 5-0. Now we're to our deliberative session on February 8th. The following amendments were offered. On page 5, line 14, replace going with go. Page 10, line 16, correct the spelling of save. Page 22, line 14, replace in with in. That was a capital correction, capital letter correction. And page 25, line 25, replace or with for. I will make a motion to accept as amended. Seconded by Karen. Any discussion there? All in favor? We have 4. Are you still looking? Colleen?
No, I'm good.
Are you good?
Yeah, I was looking. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so 5-0 for that. Okay, very good. So we are at public input. I'm going to open public input at 6:04. I'm just going to quickly read that we are following policy BEDH, and that allows for the 3-minute section for individuals, and I can't find the rest of it, but we'll go with that. Okay, so it's open at 6:04. Please come on up to the microphone if you have anything you'd like to say.
State your name and your address.
Thank you, and please state your name and your address.
I'll put this down. You got this. You got it. I know. I know it can be scary. It's okay. Why don't we start and read together? Do you want me to read it for you? I think it would be better if you read it yourself. You can do it. You got it.
You got this, Ollie.
Oh, you got it.
Everybody here is friendly and.
It's only us.
Yeah, it's a really
Yeah.
small group and we're just sharing your opinions with them, okay? You can just say that you live in Brookline, okay? Here, that should be at the right height. I'll be right next to you. You got it. Be brave. You got it. You can do it. You're going to talk right into the microphone, okay? Can you say your name and where you live? Start with that. You can do it. Look at the friendly faces. No, this is yours. You can do it. You got it. I can't. Take a deep breath. You got it. Just start by saying hi and look around and say hi to everybody.
Hi, I'm Ollie, and I live in Brookline, and I'm in 5th grade in Miss Combs' class at CSDA, and I wanted to talk about the dress code.
You're doing okay. You're doing okay. Just stand a little bit closer so they can hear you, okay?
I personally think that the dress code is unfair and targeted towards girls. I'll list the reasons. The dress code unfairly targets girls when most examples that are used are things like tank tops and spaghetti straps, things boys usually don't wear. It infers that boys don't wear anything bad and that girls are the problem. It also points out girls' bodies or body fat or is aimed at girls who have bigger chests or other body parts. A lot of the time when teachers point out body fat or a body part that they feel should be covered, it makes kids insecure. I myself have been dress coded many times and have been told to cover up or to put on a sweatshirt. And I remember that one day I was sitting in bus line waiting for my bus, and I had a tank top on in hot weather, and the teacher said, "You need to put on a sweatshirt," and I said I didn't have one, so she took me to the office and made me sit in there and wait for my bus, which I personally think is unfair. Another time, I was talked to for showing too much, and again, I was in a tank top. This made me insecure about having a bigger chest than most other girls in my grade. I'd like to have a further conversation at the next school board meeting. I don't think the dress expectations as they are written are appropriate. I would like to talk more about my thoughts and ideas at the next meeting and possibly have friends join me. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
You did a really nice job.
Well
Ollie.
done. Really well done.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you very much for your input. We appreciate that. Always appreciate students coming to our board meetings and speaking up too. So thank you for your time and your bravery there.
Can I just ask Ollie, for the minutes, is your last name Hill?
Hill, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We are in public input. Is there any other public input before we, no? Okay, very good. Okay, so I think if we could, do we want to address that real quick right now?
Yeah,
Is that okay?
first of all, I want to thank Holly for coming again and encourage her to always feel welcome here and to speak to us whenever. Don't hesitate. What I would recommend is that we pull the policy around dress code. We send it back to the policy committee, and when that committee has had opportunity to review it, we'll reach out to Ollie and her mom and let her know when that would be back for readings here at the board level.
So Brookline actually doesn't have a dress
Right.
code policy? Okay.
Right, so what we would do
Okay.
typically is we'd pull our Hollis and our co-op, and then we'd see what we like, what we don't like. We can also use the New Hampshire School Boards Association policy, and by coming out of policy, it will get 3 readings for the public, and that will give all these classmates or any other families who might want to come in that can't meet the one night, you know it'll have 3 reading nights. And I would suggest not rushing it, by doing a second and third combined, because that'll give people 3 opportunities to come.
Excellent.
Any other feedback from the board at all with that plan?
No, I appreciate your feedback, Ollie. You did a great job. It's not easy to stand up there. And you're absolutely right that sometimes dress codes inadvertently do tend to talk about females more than males. So I think it's something we should look at. So I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, so Ollie, we are in the midst of a turnover on our board a little bit, so things may take just a little bit longer than normal because of that. Karen is on our policy committee now, and this is her last meeting, so we have a reorg that's happening in March, and at that point, we'll have different members assigned to the different committees, and we get started at that point, okay? So we're probably about a month away and getting that launched, okay?
But Ollie, I have a daughter in your class, so you let us know when you want to come back.
Okay, thanks again, appreciate it. Okay. We still have the public input open. We're going to move into our next section around to our principal's report for the evening.
Good evening, everyone. Basically, our Brookline enrollment is staying steady. Right now, we have 332 students at RMMS and 253 at CSDA for a total of 585 students. We added a few pictures to the report, and basically, most of them are about from the STEAM project. It's the STEAM night that we had. And I have to tell you, I cannot be more grateful for all the participation. It was really a great collaboration between the families, the teachers, and the students, as far as the families providing all the cardboard that you could ever want. And, you know, I'm not sure my custodians appreciated it all the time at the end, but, you know, the kids had a great time, and you can see from some of the pictures, but we had a great outpouring at both schools for the parents and the families. I received so many emails from parents thanking me, and I said, it's not me, it was a collaboration of the community. So it was probably one of the first times that, at least since I've been here in 2.5 years, that we've really had a whole community collaboration night. So I just want to thank everyone, and the students had a great time showing their design and their desires for what could be possible. Mr. Molinari?
So good evening. Last week was a really busy week for RMS students. We celebrated 100th Day in our grades K and 1 especially, where they, you know, made chain necklaces and made hats and did all activities around 100. So that was wonderful to see. We also had Valentine's Day, and then we had STEAM night. And I agree with Mrs. Boulay. We had a lot of cardboard, and we appreciate all of it. And I appreciate all the staff who welcomed all the cardboard in their classroom for the past 2 months. So, but what was most impressive for me watching this project was the students went through the engineering design process in all 3 grade levels, or 4. And our kindergarten students were partnered with the 2nd grade students, and our 1st grade students were partnered with 3rd grade students. And that was great because it allowed our older students to be leaders for the younger students, and then also gives our younger students role models to look after. So that was the part of the project that was most impressive and I was most proud about for our school. So it was a wonderful event. Like Mrs. Boulay said, what a great turnout. It was great to bring this back for the families to enjoy. And there's just a lot of creativity. It just shows you what great students we have and amazing families. And then at both buildings, we're celebrating Read Across America Week. So a lot of fun activities around that. So thank you.
Thanks. STEAM night was awesome. I got to go. It was chaos in the gym, which I loved, but it was a lot of fun. And then I was at basketball on Saturday and saw it in the dumpster. Felt for the team that cleaned it up as well. So thanks to that team there too. Okay, so we're going to move on to discussion now at this point. One of the pieces that we have handed out is around the teacher survey. And we have 2 documents. Kelly and Colleen, are you presenting, or Andy, are you? I'm not sure who's talking to this piece.
What I was going to do is just inform the board that Kelly, Colleen, Gina, and I had met on Zoom to look at it. And in front of you tonight, you have a OCI survey of 30 questions that's validated, which we felt was very important. We feel it's a great starting point to give us data and to move forward from. And I'd like to thank Kelly and Colleen for doing a lot of the legwork and looking at a variety of surveys, and kind of the 4 of us holding each other accountable to get something that was, we felt, on point, easy to do, validated, and would give us data to move forward. And then, as the board will recall, Colleen and Kelly would charge with doing what I'll call a cover memo for staff to go along with the survey. So I'll turn it over to Colleen or Kelly, whichever one would like to take over.
Okay.
If you can read it, if not, I can read it.
Sure. So, so what you have in front of you is the OCI survey tool, which, let me just pull, it's a climate index, and it's a short, reading from the developer's website, it's a short organizational climate descriptive measure for schools. It has 4 dimensions: principal leadership, teacher professionalism, achievement press for students to perform academically, and vulnerability to the community. It is, each of these dimensions have been measured by a subtest, and the reliability scores for the scales were relatively high. We wanted to have a tool that we could use without modifying it in any way, so that wouldn't impact the validity. So we thought this was pretty simple, short, straight and to the point. And also, the survey tool has been benchmarked, which means when our faculty and staff complete it and we get the results back, they will be anonymous, and we'll be able to score it and look at the item numbers for each score and come up with some generalizations about what areas the feedback is benchmarked to. And then if there's no discussion about the tool,
I do have a quick question on
Sure.
that. With it being manual and pen and paper, from a scoring standpoint, is it going to be a manual tabulation, or is there something that we can feed it through, or how does that work?
It's going to have to be manual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the only option you could do is you could do it as a Scantron sheet.
Oh, okay.
Where I would be coloring in the appropriate oval, and then we could send them through the machine. It would tabulate question 1, the responses. So
Oh.
it'd still be very much paper and pencil, but it would make the tabulation much quicker.
That sounds
That sounds
like a
great.
good option. So- Okay.
Okay?
But there's an automated way to
Yep.
score it. Okay, great.
Excellent. So no hand scoring. And then Colleen and I, as tasked by the board, drafted a statement that would be like a cover letter to go to accompany the survey tool. And this is a draft, so we're open to your feedback, and our apologies for it not being a very clear. Dear staff members, thank you for taking the time today to carefully consider and respond to this climate survey. The Brookline School Board represents a town that deeply values and appreciates the teachers, paraprofessionals, administrators, and other staff members who provide an education to our children. Our goal in providing this survey is to gain a better understanding of the climate in the Brookline schools and to provide a tool that allows your voices to be heard. We selected a tool that has been validated and is benchmarked. The survey is being given by pen and paper to provide anonymity. The results of the survey will be shared directly with the Brookline School Board and will be used to inform decision-making regarding allocation of resources, potential further inquiries into staff perceptions, professional development, and goals for the school year. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to share your thoughts, feelings, and opinions with us. We hope this will be the first of many opportunities we have to listen to you and work with you all to continue to foster a supportive school community.
So is the data only with the school board, or is it with the administrators as well, as part and parcel?
I think it would have to be shared
We
with
would,
everybody.
I think we
Yeah.
would
So-
share it at a
I
school
would say
board
the
meeting.
only thing that, like, when you say, like, it's gonna be, was shared with the Brookline School Board and will be used because of you talk about the anonymity before. And we already know that people will skew data based on who they think is going to be reading that data and interpreting it. So just for clarity, that, like, this includes administrators who attend the school board meetings or whatever it is, just so that there's no question about, oh, it's just going to those 5 people on the board.
Right, so I wonder, the results of the school board will be shared directly with the school board and
At our school, at a school
tabulated.
board meeting.
At a
Like-
school board meeting
That's
is
a
good
fine,
idea.
because even if you just put it in a meeting, they
Yep.
would know that the rest of the world is
Public.
there too.
Yeah,
Yep.
it'll be anonymous until we tally everything up.
How
Right,
about-
and your individual scores won't be, but,
How about if we put like the tabulated results or?
yeah, I think that's good too.
The
Like
tabulated
cumulative
results.
results or
Yeah,
tabulated?
something where it's, you know, your individual score isn't gonna be on there somewhere.
So the tabulated results will be shared at a Brookline school board meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you for doing all of that.
Yeah, it
work.
looks
That's
good.
awesome.
Do you have a end date that you want to put on it from, or a time, a release? I know we're going to vote on it in a, assuming that's the only other thought is, do we want to allow for X amount of windows so it doesn't
I
like?
think one of the things that had been mentioned before, and I don't know how the administrators think, what they think about this, was that it would be handed out maybe at the end of a staff meeting or something, so that people could just fill it out and,
Right then? Okay.
but I don't think that that was decided. I just recall that being mentioned.
I mean, I would be comfortable with like a 2-week window and
Yeah.
just,
You want to make sure also that you're including all staff, and so not every staff member attends the faculty meetings. So it has to be made available in a way that, you know, your part-time kitchen staff has an opportunity to provide feedback as well, or second shift custodian, you know, just because everyone has
Right.
different hours.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
also we want to make sure that it's actually answered by everybody and it's not considered a burden, the time. So that's why we talked about a staff meeting, because at least you have usually your teachers there. So if you give them, I mean, it's 30 questions. If you give them 15, 20 minutes to fill it out and then they turn it in, because otherwise results get skewed if we don't get everybody's responses. And then I don't know if you have paraprofessional meetings where it could be handed out there. I'm sure it's not a lot of time in the school day, but I think if the schools could kind of think about what that looks like. We want to maximize responses, obviously.
yeah. I guess I just go back 2 to 3 weeks. That allows for enough time for everyone to have a chance to be heard. It allows for the Scantron to happen, or however we do that, and then tabulate it, and then we can present it at a meeting, and then the process happens from there, right? Whatever the data says, and we
Right.
talk about it.
Yeah, definitely a deadline is good.
Yeah.
I agree.
Is it intended to be a one-time, like a one-off on it?
I
or is-
didn't get that sense that we wanted it to be a
This
one-time
is sort of
thing.
like a baseline, and we'll see how things are going, and if there's other things that need to be explored, we can. No, but I think it's a nice tool to,
I almost wonder
regularly.
whether you're like at a semester point, like beginning, middle, end, would give you a better set of data for like how things are going.
yeah.
I get that this is the first one, I'm
It's
just,
baseline, so you want to
Right, you have
repeat
to have
it
the-
with
yes.
the hopes that if measures are lower, that they become, that we
Can
come up
we
with
make-
solutions.
Just a suggestion on dates. If you
Sure.
approved it tonight, we could open it up the Monday we came back, which is March 6th, and then close it on the 14th, which is an early release day, so that anybody that still needs to do it would have time. But to Colleen's point, if I'm somebody who wants to walk in the office, pick it up, do it, and we'll have one of the secretaries or somebody have the envelope to drop it off, or a box or something, so people don't feel like somebody's standing there watching, you know, Ken put his in,
Yeah.
but, you know, because that'll give you about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And having the early release means we're gonna have our paras available, you know, while they're being paid. We can make sure we get the kitchen staff. We have 2 custodians that work late in the afternoon, you know, so this would just allow us to get everybody involved.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
Andy, we were just saying, it might work best if we just, on the 6th, put in everybody's mailbox.
Yep.
That way we, and then,
Yep.
That's perfect.
Does everyone have a mailbox, Dan?
yeah, and what we can do is, if they don't have a mailbox, then we can have extras at the office for those that
Okay.
don't, and just have like a checkoff sheet. Everybody just
Okay.
need one or something like that.
People don't get like payroll envelopes anymore, right?
No.
That's how you used to do things.
I doubt it.
The good old days.
Old days.
Clock in.
You know, I did reach out to Karen Pillion, who's the union president. They are aware and are supportive.
Oh,
So I
great.
don't think there's going to be an issue with participation.
Excellent.
And I think that this will also give some data on how we do it, because we may need to tweak that the next time we do it too. But I think this is a good way of a 2-week window, a guaranteed early release. We'll use the mailboxes. The goal is to get the highest participation rate we can.
Yep.
And is there any preference on like returning them? Would it be like a shoebox made into like a mailbox with a slot that they get put in, or?
Probably just hang up an envelope where you can just slide it in the main office.
Yeah, I think we have the secretary do that.
Okay.
Okay, so I think from a language standpoint, you made that one edit, and then we talked about process here a little bit, but I don't know that we have any other suggestions on the write-up. I think it looks good, just that one little tweak.
So just the second sentence now reads, "The tabulated results will be shared at a Brookline School Board meeting and will be used to inform decision-making regarding allocation of resources, potential further inquiries into staff perceptions, professional development, and goals for the school year."
Do you need to have your due dates in there? Or no? Are you guys good with that?
If you want to due dates in, what I would suggest, Kelly could email the final document, and I would just put them up at top in bold.
Okay.
All right? And we'll do a number of announcements or email reminders, because again, the goal is participation.
Yeah. Do we need a motion?
We will, we're gonna have, it's, yeah,
Sorry.
we'll get there, I promise. No, okay. Are we good on that? Okay, we're gonna move on then to the FY '23 revenue and expense update.
Okay, in your board packet, the business office was kind enough to provide you with a revenue and expense update as of January 30th, 2023. The first thing I will tell you is our numbers are getting better, which is what typically happens, because using an encumbrance system, we've encumbered everything for the entire year. And as you know, we have some unfilled positions in that, so every month when that position goes unfilled, that encumbrance gets turned over to offset other deficiencies. The two lines that the board is well aware of, special education is over budget by about $197,927 from different move-ins or services that happened well after this budget was put together. And the other piece was the ADA projects. As the board was aware, we had some compliance issues that needed to be addressed ASAP regarding Americans with Disabilities Act, which included some sidewalk ramps and things like that. So again, that was $106,000. So presently, we are $54,429, what I would say, in the hole. But to give you the idea, when we did this in December, that number was $120,000 further in the hole. So I feel quite good that we're moving forward. As I said, next in March, we'll discuss the potential use of special ed funds to address those unexpected expenses that have come up. We'll do it in the same fashion we've done in the past. We would start to talk about an up to number, and then in April, we'd see what that number is, May, and then in June, if need be, finalized. The board may recall we did the same thing last year, and by the time June had come around, there was no need to encumber funds out of the special ed trust. But I think our goal has always been to be transparent to the taxpayers, and this way, by talking about it in March, April, and May, everybody should be well aware of the fact that we may be using it. The other piece, the board could choose also to look at the ADA projects out of the unreserved fund balance. So you have two different solutions potentially to address this. You should be aware, though, but you know, we've gone now a number of months with an unfilled administrative position. We've had, well, we just actually filled a custodian's position here at CSDA, but that position was unfunded for a couple of months. So I do believe this will only get better. and we'll move forward from there. The number you see down below is all our warrant articles, but please understand you also have the unreserved fund balance that also comes down at the end. But we don't include that throughout the budget process because to use that, there'd be a specific process related to a public hearing and a formal presentation and then a board vote on that. So it's never included in the budget dollar amount as we go through. What's included is what the taxpayers approved on the warrant last year. Okay. Any question on the revenue and expense? Just to give you, I wrote on the other side that on 12/12/22, we presented, and the negative was 175, 178. So now it's 54, 429. So that's typically what happens when you use encumbrances, because we tell the principals way back in August and September, get everything you're going to purchase encumbered. And then a lot of times what'll happen, they'll decide, oh, I don't need that, or I don't need this, or we don't fill a position.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. We tabled the special ed
Yep.
trust discussion to next month. The other piece that had come up, and I wanted to discuss with the board, there had been a question around the teaching staff through their union organization was going to be sending out postcards, which they traditionally do. And the question that was brought up to me by the union and a community member was, could the board participate in those postcards? Okay, I don't recommend it because in the future there might be a year where we are not supportive of something. And I think we have already clearly stated our position in two forms. We have the documents that we publish for the voter guide, which shows a 5-0 recommendation for the board. And I think if anybody watches the deliberative session, I think the board conveyed the value we have for our teachers and what we believe this contract does for them. So I would just want to state that publicly because I didn't want to get into who knows what 2 years from now would bring or 3 years from now would bring in terms of a negotiation or how another community member would feel who maybe disagrees with the contract. Okay? But I just wanted to do that because I think it's important when the union or community members ask questions as much as we can discuss them at this forum. So if anybody has any questions on that, and I did consult legal and they kind of feel the same way. It always seems like a good idea when things are good, but there might be a day when things aren't good. Yep.
So how do we close that loop? Will
I think
you
it's
close
closed
it?
already.
It's closed, okay. I
Yeah,
thought it might be
they moved
closed.
forward today, it looked like,
I thought so.
with their own statement.
Yeah.
I was going to come in with a similar thought and just, if we took a position, it would be the vote was 5-0 and leave it at that. But I believe that they are proceeding forward
Yeah,
as it is.
That makes sense.
Right.
I agree with that.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for that. Okay, one other discussion, I just had a quick question. Are we still on track for the big reveal in, after February vacation of RMS?
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Because it is progressing wonderfully. We have brought books out of the pod into the library, and those are going onto the shelves. So the library, except for some, I'll call, your checklist is done. All the new flooring in all the new flex spaces, teacher's room, and music room is completed. All the new lighting's installed. So we are very close. We have a couple inspections that are difficult to get right now, as everybody knows, just kind of like getting furniture delivered. It's not easy to get on the list. And one of those is regarding the fire rating system. We are using a company that comes in because it's multiple spaces. You have an elevator, you have a library, all have different code requirements. So they will be in. They are, I'm gonna use the word sanctioned. I'm not sure if that's totally the correct word, by the state. So we have that scheduled. As long as that stays on track, the goal would be probably most likely April 1st to the 15th. Yeah.
Before the end of this school year? The third graders will get to see it a little bit?
Yeah. Our librarian has seen it.
Okay.
I think we'll be able to start getting some students down there like after April break, roughly. We have to also wait for the occupancy
Permit, yeah.
permit as well, so.
And it could go quicker. It's just, if we over-deliver and under-promise, it's always better than the other way. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Definitely by 23, 24 school year.
You're walking it back now.
No, It
It looks
really,
great. It looks great.
Awesome.
yeah, it really does.
Actually, tonight, they were just taking down the,
Yeah.
in the main lobby,
Yeah.
Andy had come by, where the lost and found area was, and like the visitor seating, there's that
Yeah.
exit doors. They were just taking that down to enter into the elevator, so that's
Oh,
a big
Temporary wall
undertaking.
is gone.
Temporary wall is
How about that? All right, that's great.
And again, we can maybe coordinate where we're going to have a board turnover. It may be good for us to do another tour so the new board members can visually see what we're getting for the money we spent.
Great. All right, well, that's exciting. Looking forward to seeing the end product. Okay, so we do have one deliberation, and that is around the teacher survey. So I'm going to put a motion to see what action, if any, the board wishes to take regarding conducting a teacher survey for the Brookline School District. Need a second for that. Seconded by Karen. Okay, so now we had some conversation. It's officially on the table. Is there any other discussion around this?
Need a number 2? Number 2 pencil?
Should we call it a staff survey? Would
Or
that be
just a
better?
climate survey?
What's that?
Or just a climate survey?
Survey,
Climate
yeah,
survey's
climate
good.
survey.
Okay, I'm going to withdraw my motion, and,
Your motion confused me, that's why I was looking at you strangely.
okay,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. So let's make a new motion to see what action, if any, the board wishes to take regarding conducting a climate survey for the Brookline School District. Second, are we comfortable with that?
I just don't know what I'm, like, what am I voting on?
You're voting on using the statement as amended that Colleen changed the wording.
Okay.
Excuse me, Kelly changed the wording, and then the actual 30-question survey. So you're approving the 2 documents that were presented.
I think that's the word I'm missing. Don't we need, like, as opposed to taking what, deciding to take what action, saying, like, to approve the use of, or am I wrong?
I'm happy to so I'm
No,
going
I'm just like, I'm just making
so
sure.
I'm going to withdraw that.
Last
trouble in
meeting.
your last
I
meeting.
am, I'm like,
Yeah,
really, I'm
good
just trying to make
grief.
it hard for everyone.
Get out of here. All right, so I'll withdraw that. I'll make a motion. Do you want to make a motion, or?
I'll make a motion to approve the use of the amended statement and OCI survey for assessing the climate
Of the Brookline
of the
School
Brookline
System?
School District system.
Perfect.
I second that.
Sounds great. Thank you.
There you go, you didn't have to say it.
All right. Any other discussion? Okay, so once we approve this, this will get out, well, I'm jumping, if we approve this, we'll get this out in March and have it back, and should have it in time for the next the board reorg and everything like that then, so that'll be great. Okay, all in favor? 5-0, unanimous, very good. Okay, we do not have a non-public tonight, I don't believe.
Nope.
Okay, so I wanted, one more time, thank you, Karen, thank you, Allison, for all your years of service, appreciate it. Got in one more meeting before, yeah, so thank you. Thank you again. All right, one of you want to make the motion to adjourn, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Very good. All in favor? 5-0, thank you.
That was sweet.